Okay, the beautiful Belinda.
Okay.
Or we call you Bindi. Belinda is joining us all the way from Queensland. Hi, darling. Thanks for joining.
Queensland, yes.
Now, you're wanting to catch up and talk about a physical issue. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
So I'm about 3 weeks into Ross River fever, or Ross River virus. So it's, at the moment I have a lot of pain in my body, in my feet. I can barely walk. My legs just don't want to hold me up. And I've got numbness down both my arms from my shoulder right to my fingers. And like my neck really hurts. It's sort of why I'm leaning forward. It hurts to hold my head up.
Wow.
So I'm just holding it up. And yeah, just can barely walk. That's kind of difficult. Okay. Even in bed, you can barely roll over. So those are sort of the physical things, yeah.
Okay. So did this just like come on all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know when I got it, I know when I got it, and actually 2 other people got it as well at the same time from the same place. Yeah, the place where I meet for my group, Mama Tribe, it's called. There's tons of Aussies there. Yeah, and I started to get it about a week after I'd been there, and then a friend was like, "Oh, what's it like?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've got it too." And then there was another one that has it. And Jason got it about a month before me as well.
What?
Yeah, and I actually know another 3 people with it. So we had that cyclone here, and afterwards the mozzies would like epidemic. And yes.
Okay.
Because it's quite late to get it, like it's winter now.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very hot here, but
is it?
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay. Let's find out what's going on, especially if you've both got it.
Yeah. Yeah, a few people are like, that can't be right. That's a coincidence. I was like,
No coincidence. There's something going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to use this process to get through, all the different layers to find out what's really going on, and pretty much if we can find out why you have it, we can then look at shifting it so that your body can start to heal naturally. Because when you have Ross River virus or Ross River fever, what is the prognosis?
Well, this has been part of getting my head around it, because when I first got it, I seemed to breeze through like the first week or so, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna get over this really quick, but I was just so naive. And yeah, a few people have added me to different support groups. I don't know if that helps, but yeah, some people can literally have it for years and years.
So it's like it just depends on your immune system, does it?
Yeah. Well, you always have it, but you become asymptomatic. So Jason's 6 weeks in, and he's almost over it. Like, yeah, he's doing really well. So 6 weeks is about the minimum that I know of anyone getting over it.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, when I first got it, I thought I couldn't get my head around that, like the length of having it with having children, and especially still a small one breastfeeding. I was like, I can't have this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mental has been really big, and getting my head straight and accepting it, because I had a day there where I just like went into full resistance, and like it knocked me out so much. I really couldn't move it all that day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with both of you, like, you know, who runs the family, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just use the universal mindset technique, and what we're going to do is we're going to firstly look at pretty much the 4 reasons why we have things happen to us. So there's 4 reasons why we have things happen to us. The first one is that just to experience it. I don't think that's you in this case. It's to it's to learn a lesson. Not sure, we'll find out. Whether there's a level of duality, like feeling sick so then you can really embrace feeling better, that kind of thing. Or there's the mirror. So there could be something mirroring, especially if there's 2 of you having it. So it could be a couple of one of these reasons. But thinking big picture, like this is where with the universal mindset technique, it's always thinking big picture. And once we know the big picture reason for things and we can get through why they're happening, then it allows the healing process to naturally happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to get you to just follow this process, which is that 5-step process that I use. And so what is the feeling that this creates for you?
Helplessness.
Yeah. That's a good one. Is there any kind of anger and frustration?
Yeah, I feel a bit angry. I feel angry towards my mum because she's not supportive of me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm 47. Why am I still looking for that? I'm pissed off at myself.
Yeah.
Like,
so still looking for the support.
I've got to shift. Yeah, I've got to shift this.
Okay.
And just before I got it, I was going to be facilitating our mother's group that week. And I was doing the mother wound, and I'd really been exploring it. And then the day before I started to get this. And so I definitely think they're linked. I spent a lot of time working on the father wound, and following that, I think the mother one came up.
Yeah.
But I really, like I've lived over half my life now, and I don't want to be the same. Yeah. I don't want to be the same as I have been. Yeah.
So when
I know it's big. It's big. And I am ready. I'm ready to shift this.
Let's do this. So if you say you don't want to be the same, what are the other characteristics that you don't like?
Victim, martyr. Why don't people help me? How did this happen? Why did this happen to me? And just kind of how am I going to look after my children? And I think because my children are quite spread out as well. So I've been doing it a long time, and like I've had a small child for a long time as well because of these gaps. Like I then get another one, and then, I breastfeed for a long time, and I have them sleep with me, and like it's big.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not sure, but there's something tied with that, like when I first got it, I was like, I can't do this. I've got to look after people.
Yeah. But in a way, it's a bonus because you can't look after people.
Is it?
Well, you can't look after people. See that? Anyway, let's keep playing.
Yeah.
So that's really good information, and we've really connected some really cool stuff. So all these things, like I feel like there's so many different layers. I'm just going to yawn through this because you've already, just some of this awareness has actually allowed you to shift some energy already. So even just, you know, saying the whole belief systems around being a victim and the martyr and why, you know, all these kind of things, the helplessness, these are all beliefs that you have in your subconscious about yourself. So what happens is that then runs your life and runs your reality, and I can see exactly why you just want to get rid of it, because it's pretty much not great energy to sit in. It doesn't feel good.
It's very, well, like, talk about being stuck. Like, I'm literally stuck in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'll take me 10 minutes to move. So yeah, I could tell I'm stuck.
Okay.
And I think I've gone into it a bit with the mind stuff, because Jason was away the last week for work, and like, it was a lot processing his and mine. So, and that can happen in a house with a lot of people too. Like, sometimes I'm like, what's mine? Where do I start?
Yeah.
So, like, I really did use that time to, yeah, try and work some stuff out.
Okay. And I think that's probably where you've come to these conclusions. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. So
Yeah.
that's really awesome. So now we actually need to look at where they all came from. Okay. So what's your earliest memory of being helpless?
My earliest memory.
Just the first thing that pops up.
Well, the first thing that pops up is as a baby, but it's not really a memory, but it's just what popped up. Just being a baby when I was a baby.
Yep. No, that's good. A lot of our helplessness does come from being a baby, and even as babies, we have expectations. It's actually quite funny. Yeah. And then when our needs aren't met as a baby, like, you know, maybe if we were left crying or whatever, we actually then form beliefs about ourselves even then.
Yeah.
Which are crazy. So let's just say that you have actually created a belief that you're helpless from when you were a baby. Feeling into that a little bit more, what do you think possibly could have happened?
I feel like there was like trauma, and there was a lot going on, and like, I know how much energy babies take, and I doubt there would have been that energy for me. And also, I know I was left at certain times to cry, and probably I'm just thinking, like, my emotional needs were not met as a baby.
Yeah.
It's definitely the emotional needs, and it comes up for me time and time again.
Okay.
So even though this is a very physical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll just say that that's kind of stemmed from there. So let's keep going.
Looking everywhere. Who's going to, like, fulfill my needs?
Yeah. And that's just stemmed from there, because you didn't have that control. Okay. I actually feel like all of that stemmed from there. I'm actually not that guided to go anywhere else, because as I read through the list, you've got, okay, you're angry towards mum because she's not supportive of you. I'm still looking for support. Then the mother wound we talked about, and that's kind of coincidentally when this has all happened. I don't want to be the same as I've always been, which is the victim, the martyr. Why don't people help? Why did it happen? How am I going to look after my children? Can you see that that is actually something that's triggering this? Because that's actually what happened to you. You weren't looked after.
Yeah. I totally just got that then. That would have been my mum, like, how am I going to look after this child, this baby?
So that's why you keep, that's why it's your first instinct when you get sick, is that because that is your most important thing, is looking after your children, because you weren't looked after.
Yeah.
And the other thing that is kind of standing out, which I wouldn't mind looking at, is that you did say, I've actually had a small child for a long time. Because you've had gaps, you've always had small children, which is creating a level of responsibility to make up for the lack of responsibility put onto you. So it's like you'll keep having little babies so that you can love and nurture them because you weren't.
Okay.
So that's why.
I've had enough babies now, so that's a reason to fix this as well.
let's just say, okay, so this is all stemmed from, and I'm actually really happy that you've been able to connect with, even though you were a baby, you've been able to connect to the energy of it. Now, as we're talking from that place, the thing is, and you know, I've done a lot of work around this with other people, that people who have a connection to, you know, traumas, fears, needs, and so forth as a baby, they are actually real. And these are like perceptions from a baby as to what a baby needs when they're younger. And then that creates, again, perceptions about not only who they are as a person, and that you carry that with you when you grow up, but what that also does is it creates coping mechanisms. So not only do you have to continue feeling that, but also compensating for how you treat others. It's very tiring.
Yes, I feel very tired.
So I'm going to get you to stay in that energy of being the baby and being helpless, and going through the trauma. Not, you know, your emotional needs weren't met. That, you know, no one is there for you, and that you were left kind of to cry as a baby. So because, and I don't want you to think about it, I just want you to sit in this energy and just be in it. Because that happened to you, what does that mean about you as a person?
Not worthy.
Yep.
Of being loved.
Yep. Anything else that she's decided to take on?
That I'm just a bit empty inside, and like wanting, I have trouble letting go that, like, that didn't happen, or I didn't get that, and like I won't get that this life, and I still want that this life, but it's
okay.
like, no,
it's okay. It's only from that, so that's okay. You don't have to. Yeah. We're going to get rid of that today.
I think part of the confusing thing is, I feel like a lot of my stuff did come from being a baby, and that's why I haven't understood it. But I've known, I can feel it was before I knew, like. Yeah.
Well, as a baby, you really didn't, like, you, even though you were a baby, your intelligence level was very high.
Mm-hmm.
So Now, I'm saying this from the human level, is that your intelligence level was very high, so you knew what was going on, but it was planned perfectly for you to do that, because from the bigger picture, like, you've chosen to incarnate into this family, you've chosen your mother, all that sort of thing, to actually allow yourself to embrace and to experience yourself as the most magnificent experience that you could ever have as a human being on a planet. The thing is, you won't be able to experience that fully unless you can experience what you've experienced. The other thing too is that you've carried it with you, so you haven't, because you haven't really known what to do with it, so that you haven't really then had the opportunity to really step into where you're meant to be stepping into, which is okay, because it's going to be different after today.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want.
And that's what's going to happen. So what we're going to do
become a woman and stop being like I feel like I'm a girl so often. I'm just like, yeah.
It's okay, because you haven't been able to get rid of it. So what we need to do is we need to connect to the belief that so from that experience as a baby, you then created a belief that you're not worthy of being loved, that you're empty inside, and that you're kind of always wanting something and never being given it. What you can then do is, looking from the big picture, saying, if you can kind of look back at from the observer point of view, what do you think your mum was really doing?
She was surviving.
Yeah.
She was doing her best to survive.
Yeah. So she didn't intentionally do that, did she?
No.
Okay.
No.
We notice I'm burping a lot. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's good to think about that. I don't think it's intentional, no.
No. Good.
Yeah.
And your gut feeling is connecting to the truth. The truth is always in your gut.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. Even though you aren't her, you know that is true. So if that is true, that she was just surviving, that she didn't intentionally ignore you or leave you, or didn't tend to you and all that sort of thing, what we then need to do is that's our our adult brain seeing that, but we need to go back to the baby brain who still thinks that that my emotional needs aren't met, and that no one wants to help me or look after me. What can you now tell the baby who's laying there and crying and no one's tending to her?
You are loved and cared for and important, valued.
You're making me cry. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Can you feel that emptiness is starting to close up?
Yeah, I'm feeling more, understanding and compassion, I think, too.
Okay.
For my mum. Yeah.
Well, you've had lots of kids that, maybe they have had, had to cry it out because you've been juggling stuff. And of course, you're sick. Great opportunity to experience this. It's not the baby's fault, is it?
No.
The baby's not being neglected. You're sick. Can you see this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks, Ross River Fever, for coming along.
Yes, keeps on giving.
Well, we don't need it to keep on giving anymore, because guess what? We got the picture. We understand the whole process.
There's another part I feel that just is coming to me too. the vulnerability with this, and that's, I guess, what I'm feeling in saying those things. I feel vulnerable, and yeah, it's softening me, because I have to soften, because I feel quite like incapacitated. Yeah, so it's making me soften, because I don't have any energy to be like this hard anymore.
It's not you. It's not. Can you see that that's not who you are? So I want you to tell me, who are you as a person? Like, who are you?
I feel like I'm kind and generous, and I feel like I'm actually a lot softer than I've been.
Yeah. And now, having the awareness that you were always loved and cared for and important, what does that mean about you?
If I feel full, I've got more to give.
Yeah.
And I like to give, but so often I feel depleted.
Yeah. Because you're giving from a depleted energy.
Yeah.
But can you see now that you're loved and cared for and important? Can you see that that's actually quite fulfilling? And so that means you can give more, because you've got lots more in there.
Yeah.
So
I would like to give more, and I would like to give more.
So the place that you start,
who can give to me?
Yeah, the place that you start is with yourself.
Yes.
So remember, the external will just reflect the internal. So I think now that you'll actually be a little bit softer with yourself. You'll be a little bit more generous and kind with yourself, because you're now not operating from a place of needing and not being worthy and feeling empty inside and needing, people to look after you, because you're actually okay as you are. I'm going to go backwards,
but the irony is no one's actually really looking after me. So
because it's here.
Yeah.
I think what that does is it allows you to trust that you'll be okay.
Yeah. I do need to trust that.
Well, you already, so when you just say that you are already this, so everything that you want, you just say you're already that, and then it just naturally happens. So when you say that you're actually not really supported or cared for, that's from a past reality. With this new level of reality and current mindset, you don't know. When you have that, like you feel that you're already loved and cared for inside, people will then mirror that.
Yeah.
So you don't know what can happen. So you can even say that in the past you weren't loved and cared for because it was just reflective of, or you didn't feel that because it was reflective of what you were feeling inside. But now that you're feeling that inside, you watch your reality change.
Yeah.
And that could be very interesting to see. So I'm going to go backwards. I just want to check in on a few things, and it'll just be me checking in on your energy to make sure that we've covered everything. So I'm feeling into all of this, and it's actually feeling really good. I want to just ask, because you were saying that you were wanting to have the experience of love and nurturing and all that sort of thing, but you said, I just don't think I'm destined to have it in this life.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now?
Well, when I said that, I sort of meant like from my parents. Looking for it there still. But yeah, there's plenty of other sources available, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that. Good. So you will actually get it in life, and you know that that's true. Good-o, that's fantastic. So I'm going to keep going back. I think this is really good. Good, love and nurture. I'm actually going through. So I still need to play around a little bit with the victim energy. The martyr energy is shifted, but the victim energy still has a little bit more to work on.
What is the difference of those two to you?
Okay, so martyr is like putting yourself last.
Okay.
And everyone else first, like sacrificing yourself. Victim is being stuck and not being able to do anything, So that still feels like it's there. So can you just tell me the earliest memory of being stuck and not being able to do anything?
The earliest memory. Okay. This is what pops into my mind. My second baby I had on my own. Even when I'm telling this, I feel like I need to say it a particular way so I wouldn't hurt anyone. But it's not that I didn't want that baby. It's not that I didn't want my daughter or anything, but yeah, I guess it was like, this has happened, and I just got to do it.
So again, no support?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
There's something else with that. There's no support, but
like I wanted to do it, but it was like, how the hell am I going to do this? Because I already had a baby as well. I already had a little one, and I was on my own.
And how did you feel?
I felt a bit judged.
Yep.
By others. Actually, I felt like others would judge me. Yeah, and I guess.
Did they end up judging you?
Not so much, actually.
Great.
I think later on a bit. But.
Well, the only reason why they did it later on is because you built the perception that you were being judged.
Yeah, like when I'm thinking, actually, not so much in that pregnancy. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got these two things going on. So you've got, this sounds horrible, right? But I'm just going to tell it as it is. You've got the poor me, I've got no support. That's the kind of thing that comes up. The poor me, I've got no support. But then there's a massive amount of judgment, but the judgment is actually on others not helping you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you've got that judgment over others not helping you, and so you've then created the perception that they must be judging you to make you feel a little bit better for those thoughts.
Okay.
Because they weren't very nice thoughts.
Okay.
So then you've created. No. Well, again, that's your perception. So because of who you are, you've then got really angry at one stage and went, well, I can see it. I can just see that there's this, it's almost like wanting to shoot venom at people, because it's like, how dare you not help me? So that then when you relook
I can connect with that.
yeah, when you re-looked at it, you were then like, oh my God, you're such a bitch. And then so you start judging yourself, which then in your mind thought, oh, other people must be judging me as well. But it was actually all you. So no one was actually judging you, but because you created the perception that others were judging you, then you created that in reality.
Okay.
Down the track. But that's okay, because you don't need that anymore.
No.
And the poor me, no support is kind of in the same realm, because it's all interconnected. So I'm just going to get you to acknowledge that again, that was all your perception. And I feel like that there was a lot of anger that you held on to back then towards someone else. Who was that anger directed towards? But then you just blamed everyone else. Do you have a partner or something then that you directed anger to?
Yeah, I was angry at him. Yeah, I was angry. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is that you're like kind of really angry at him, but he maybe wasn't around, so you decided to be angry at everyone. Just because it made you feel better.
I was angry at men.
Okay.
So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those on the planet.
There is a lot of them. I'm going to get you to acknowledge that anger, you have to release that anger. So I'm just going to get you to take a nice deep breath and just release it, because you know that you're not there anymore. And it was just, you couldn't do anything with it back then. So you internalized it and tried to take it out on other people, but in actual fact, you took it out on yourself. Okay. So in actual fact, you did have support. I don't know how it looks, but there was some level of support, but you just didn't see it or feel it or acknowledge it. I mean, I don't even know what that looks like, but I can see that that actually wasn't true. You just didn't know you had it. And again, the whole judgment was just based around the anger. The anger was really heavy. That was such heavy anger that you had back then.
Yeah.
You just needed to direct it at someone else, but then you created judgment on yourself for doing that. So we're just going to wipe that whole scenario just by you releasing the anger. Can you just say that you can just see that it wasn't needed? You didn't need to have that there, and you're okay now and everything's good.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I
think that anger makes me hard.
It's actually not who you are. It's not who you are. It makes you into someone that you're not. And burping on cue. So that victim energy has actually gone now. So then I want to keep going back. I actually feel like this is all gone now. So what we then need to do is we just need to then, like I've actually cleared all that energy and all that stuff that's there. So you just now need to give your body 24 to 48 hours to rebalance and realign and allow it to heal itself. While you're doing that, just take note of any thoughts that come up, and especially any triggers.
Okay.
Because it will be either related to this or something that's around this. But I feel like we got most of it.
Would you, these physical symptoms, it would be nice if they decreased somewhat. They
will when you acknowledge. So you need to then go back to the way that they'll decrease is you need to go back to I'm loved, I'm cared for, I'm important, and I'm valued, because that is the truth, and that's what truth came up. So whether you want to write that down, I'm loved, I'm cared for, I'm important, and I'm valued, and that was always your ultimate truth.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm writing it down there.
When you keep saying that over and over and over and over again, your body, oh my God, will be so happy. It'll just really start to help you and start working with you. but just give it a little bit of time to shift that old energy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you've been carrying it since you were a baby.
Yeah.
I can see you were a very wise baby.
Thank you.
So wise. I'm a little bit of doubts coming up that has stopped you connecting to that wisdom. When I say that you doubt yourself, what's the earliest memory of when you doubted yourself?
A lot.
The first thing that pops up.
Okay. The first thing that pops up is that I was doing healing work, I was doing readings, and I did love that work, but I think I made up all these other reasons at the time, like all people want to know is the future, and I'm too run down and too drained, which were all probably true, but I think it was my own doubt in myself that stopped me. But here's the irony again, like I was actually good at it.
Yeah. You're actually really wise, but you'd still, it's in there. Like I can see it, but I can't see it on the outside. I can only see it on the inside.
Yeah, I don't believe you. I don't know why I don't believe you.
This is where I need to come back. And I don't think it's happened from then. Were you completely trustworthy of and of yourself before the readings? I think it's happened earlier.
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. When you were 5,
yeah.
When you were 5, you actually could see spirits, and then you were told that you were making it up.
Yeah.
Because they just told me that. And so that's when you started doubting your wisdom, because you knew that you could see them, you knew that you could talk to them, but people were telling you that you were stupid and that you were dumb and that you didn't know anything, and that's where you took their beliefs on and ignored the wisdom that you actually did have. Can you take a nice deep breath? I need that to go. That's where you let go of your wisdom.
Yeah. Funny thing, sometimes when you have this, but people close to you don't want to know, or like I'm sure you've come across this a bit. But yeah, I guess people that you could help, they maybe don't believe in you or believe it.
Well, can I tell you, people will only mirror your own stuff. Can I be honest and say I've only ever had one person ever not believe in me?
Oh, really?
And that was back when I started doing tapping. So that was a long time ago. But what I learned from doing that is that, I actually started tapping on myself and saying they don't believe in me. And it started changing to I don't believe in myself. And that's where I knew that they were just a reflection of me. And from then on, I just decided to believe in myself. And touch wood, to date, I've never had anyone not believe in what I do. So this is where, again, people will just be, I know, which is crazy because I got crazy.
That's really huge. Yeah, that is big. Okay, that's really big. That's a big lesson for me.
It's really big. They'll always reflect your own stuff. So start believing in yourself. I actually feel a lot better now. I feel like you are now going to slowly reconnect with your wisdom, and that you're going to be really happy with that. You're going to reconnect to who you really are.
So do I. It actually feels so big. I hadn't tapped into that at all. That does feel really big.
You are going
Yeah,
to experience.
I feel like
You're going to experience yourself like you've never experienced yourself before.
I feel like there's definitely things I want to bring into this world, but yeah, it's funny, since I've had the baby as well, like I've felt like so unmotivated, and I was just thinking, oh, is it okay not to have any like goals or anything? I'm not quite getting the right words, but yeah, now that I can feel this, it feels different, and I'm like, no, I think I was using that as an excuse not to bring forward like gifts that I have to bring into the world.
Well, you're saying that from this place where we've actually given it back to you, but before you actually didn't believe in yourself because of what they said. So how could you even dream or even think about something when you had absolutely no belief in yourself?
Yeah.
Now that we've given it back to you, you can see a possibility. Enjoy your new wise self, which is your old wise self, which you always have been, but it's been hiding because of what other people told you. And you know what?
I told myself.
That's, well, only just from what they said. But the thing is that when you're laying there in your bed, you can be quite happy laying there in your bed, just connecting to your wise self, and just do that for a little bit.
Okay.
Have a chat with yourself and get to know yourself. You are so wise. I wish you could see what I could see. You are so wise, and you were wise even as a baby. I can't wait for you to reconnect to this part of you, because you are so wise. Yes. I feel good about all of that now. So allow your body to heal. The more you step into your wise self, and not forcing it, but just embracing that you already had it and allow it to come out, your body will actually naturally heal by itself. Okay.
Body wisdom.
Yeah. You're incredible.
Yeah, thank you. That's really big. Wow. I didn't know that. Didn't know I was that wise.
Can you feel that you know it now?
Yeah. I can be a wise woman.
You already are.
I am a wise woman. That feels good. I'd like to be that. That
You
feels
already
a lot
are.
lighter too.
You already are. You already are. You already are. You don't need to be it. You already are. Just be you now. It's just that you were told that you weren't that, and you believed it. At 5, how old are you now?
47.
That's a long time to believe someone else's crap.
Yeah.
Can you see why your body would break down?
Yeah. Yeah. I've started thinking about turning 50, because 40 kind of shocked me. And yeah, I do really want to be a real expansive person by the time I'm 50.
Well, looking at
Even
everything
sooner would be good.
right now, it's done. You've got rid of helplessness, you've got rid of victim and martyr, you've got rid of lack of support, you've got rid of any kind of sadness or trauma from when you were in helplessness when you were a baby. You've got rid of poor me and no support and being judged by others. You've gotten rid of lack of nurture and love. You've gotten rid of not being worthy of being loved, empty inside, and not getting this in this life. Back to you are loved and cared for and important and valued. And also just by getting rid of the belief that you're crazy for seeing ghosts and talking to them, you've now reconnected to that level of wisdom that allows you to do that, because you just took on other people's beliefs. So have fun with this.
That covers a lot. Thank you. That covers a real lot.
I think it's a lot. So
or uncovers.
give yourself the weekend to really allow this energy to move on. Be kind to yourself, be gentle, have a chat to yourself, talk to yourself, and get to know yourself as the wise one, because the wise one definitely suits you. And you need to keep reminding yourself you are loved, you are cared for, important and valued, because that is the truth. Oh my God, this has been so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. Thank you. This is a really big opportunity for me to grow.
Yeah. Or
life-changing.
To be who you are. Yeah. It's definitely a beautiful process. It's definitely life-changing, and I'm so, so blessed and honoured to do this with you, just to feel all your beautiful energy come back out as it should is so lovely.
Thank you.
My pleasure, darling.
Thank you.
So just embrace, listen to anything that comes up in your mind and take note of it. Keep doing this affirmation to remind yourself of who you are. And I'll also send you through a document on universal mindset technique, which actually keeps you going with this 5-step process of going through what is the issue, what is the emotion, what does that mean about us as a person, what's your earliest memory, and what is the truth. Like, you can continue that on if you are triggered. And that goes through also all the universal laws and sub-laws, which we pretty much live by, and which is, again, the truth here on the planet. So just keep...
So when triggered, go through those is to look at it and to release it.
Well, it releases by... So what happens is you find out what is the issue and what is the emotion. Remember how we went through those? And then you says, what does that mean about you? That is the belief. What does that mean about you? I am helpless. I am... What's the other things that came up? I am helpless. I am not supported. I don't know, all these sort of things. Like, so that's the belief. Yes. Number 3 is the belief. Then it goes into, okay, so what's the earliest memory of that happening to you? And that'll show you where that came from. And then we make sense of it. Like we said, okay, your mum was just surviving and she wasn't intentional in doing that. So we needed to look at that from adult size. And then we say, what is the truth? And the truth is that I'm loved, cared for, important and valued. And that literally energetically wipes anything else that was planted in there from even when you're a baby.
Yeah.
It's a great process, and you can use it for anything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Pleasure, darling. So keep me posted. I'll send you all of that. And, let me know how you go, okay?
Your intuition's spot on. Amazing. The way you tune in. Incredible.
I got some helpers on the other side.
Very inspiring. Pardon? Helpers, yeah.
I got some helpers on the other side. But again, like, connecting to you and connecting to who you really are, like, if that's inspiring to you, then that is who you already are as well. Like, I can't wait for you to really embrace that side of you. And it's just naturally there. So just be you, just connect to you. You don't have to try and be anything else. Just be who you are.
That feels like it's going to be a lot easier.
It is. I love you so much.
You,
keep me posted, and tell me how you go, okay? Mwah. See you, darling.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.